Today on Bits, we're going to talk about injury prevention. In this episode, we're going to talk about types of injuries you may face in your workshop, ways to prevent them, and then ways to react to them. First of these are chronic injuries. These are little unnoticeable things that can eventually build up to a really bad situation further down the line. Examples of these are respiratory problems that can happen because you don't wear respirators while sanding or working with fumes. Other issues like back problems from not having your workbenches or your tools set to the proper height and constantly stooping over them. These are things that can become issues further down the line, but you don't really pay attention to them in your day-to-day activities. A lot of these injuries can be mitigated by responsible practices right now. That includes wearing dust masks around dusty environments, extracting fumes from metalworking or paint, having air filtration in your shop, or just really good dust collection. Adding these things to your workflow now can seem like a headache, but trust me, your future self will thank you. The second type of injury we're going to discuss are acute injuries. Those things are isolated events that usually happen very quickly and often very dramatically. Those injuries can vary depending on your workshop and what tools you have available. But to stop those injuries from happening, you can either prevent them or you can treat them. One of the simplest ways to prevent acute injuries is by using some of the safety equipment that already comes standard on most of your tools. Things like blade guards and riving knives and push sticks are invaluable in preventing those unnecessary injuries. If you're working around lathes or other spinning tools, making sure you don't have gloves on, you're tying your hair back, and making sure that any loose articles of clothing are tucked away is a really good practice so you don't get caught in that spinning motor. Even if you are the safest person in a workshop, sometimes bad things happen. To effectively react to acute injuries in your workshop, you need to have a first aid kit. But not any first aid kit should do. Most kits off the shelf will come with band-aids and ointment and maybe some tweezers, but chances are if you have an injury in your workshop, you're going to need a lot more than a band-aid. Investing in a trauma kit is a really smart idea. Oftentimes it'll be a step up from the band-aids and ointment kits that you may see other places. Sometimes they'll have sterilized pressure dressings or tourniquets or clotting sponges to control heavy bleeding. When you get a first aid or a trauma kit installed in your shop, familiarize yourself with it. Know what's in it, know how the things work, so that you're not left wanting when something bad actually does happen. If you work in a shop with multiple people, having some who are CPR and first aid certified is a really smart move. The best first aid kit is nothing but wall dressing if people don't know how to use it. If you work in a shop by yourself, having an open line of communication with someone who can check in on you is very important. If something does happen to you while you're working in your shop by yourself, you need to be able to get to that trauma kit easily and to be able to call someone for help very quickly. I hope this video helped you think about safety in your shop a little bit differently. Look around you and identify risks and hazards, and find a place on your wall to put a trauma kit. We'd like to thank Mortal Kombat 11 for sponsoring this episode of Bits, and if you want to see more of those episodes, they are right there, and we'll be back real soon with a new project video. See you then.